how it starts off early in this series.
Well, it should be an interesting thing. Like you said, the last-minute substitution for the Juicy Kids. Of course, Coca for Frag. Overall, statistically, I mean, Frag was pretty much a middle-of-the-road player all season long, hovering around those 15 to 20 spots in all the major areas. So as long as Coca can bring it up to that standard, it should be an interesting bout here versus Envy. And currently, doing a pretty good job earning some possession, but a nice long clear from Envy downfield and well defended by killer number 7. Remco towards the left side, and the 1-2 tap. Greasy Meister gets him on the board.
I imagine immediately Envy is going to outpace the Juicy Kids for a little bit of this series while they get accustomed to it. Juicy Kids just haven't really dealt with this throughout their season. You know, just the gap between RLRS and RLCS isn't huge, but it gets noticeable, especially at a Team Envy who really should have ended the season in Seed 1, Seed 2 with, if you just take a look at their roster in general. So I imagine it will take a little bit of time for the Juicy Kids to get used to the pace of Team Envy.
Ooh, and a nice pass, but just off the mark. Killer number 7 quickly down the other end, and Devo makes sure to get it into some semblance of safe space. Stocky, great pass to Killer, down into lower right, and for once, the Stocky Killer number 7, that's been the 2 guys on offense for Juicy Kids all during the rival series, and they have had a lot of success. Unfortunately, just missing the mark to start off here. Then go to the far right. Greasy just lets that one go. Nobody back for Juicy Kids, an easy number 2 for Envy.
It all kind of happened with this hit right here from Stocky, hoping for the hard clear. You saw Killer jumping up, really hoping to make an attempt at following that ball up, but that touch from Stocky was just a little unfortunate. He was hoping for a much harder clear, potentially towards the backboard of Envy, but it goes straight up instead, and it gives a nice, easy shot for Remco.
Greasy off the kickoff, Coca out towards the corner, and again, Greasy right on top of it. You brought up a really good point. The speed differential between the rival series and the championships series is definitely the big one that I've always noticed. As Remco, Stocky looking for Coca. It's going to be behind him, however, and they will have to reset themselves a little bit. Greasy high up the sidewall, out to the middle. Killer, first one there, hard off the back. Coca follow through, and again high, and Envy kind of scrambling, and Killer number 7, a great follow through and a nice recovery.
There it is, they're returning with their own pace. The Juicy Kids right there, outpacing 2 envious defenders, nearly getting a third, but Killer from the angle, there's no way he'd get enough pace on that shot, but still valiant effort from them.
Remco so patient in the midfield, unfortunately couldn't come up with a touch, and now Coca's looking for Devo in the net. Killer number 7 looking for a pass, and Stocky nowhere to be found. Now the long tap forward. Stocky out into a little bit of space. Actually, Devo's right there for it. Remco down into the Juicy Kids side of things. Greasy already up on the sidewall, out towards the middle of the box. Still in reach for Stocky, however. We're approaching halftime in game 1, and it's not as lopsided as perhaps a lot of us were thinking it might be. They've definitely held their own on the defensive side of things. Apart from a few mishaps, Juicy Kids looking pretty all right here. Yeah,
apart from the first minute and a half, we really see the Juicy Kids are able to deal, make their own offensive opportunities. They're able to make the chances. But again, it's just going to be a matter of being able to do it consistently. And now that Team Envy has seen what they're capable of, they probably won't give, they're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore.
And Envy, of course, on offense all season, they haven't had the good offensive numbers to show for it, but they actually were 3rd place in the league in shots per game, so they get a lot of opportunities. The problem is just putting it into the back of the net for them, it would seem. This one along the back wall, Devo clear away to Greasy. Stocky up first, he's got a spot to pick. Remco makes sure to try and get it towards the corner. Greasy gonna make sure it gets all the way over there. And now Envy kind of trapped on their own side. Coca's tries to go into the middle, and Devo just slaps this one away. A little bit of push and shove from Devo in the midfield on Coca, and Greasy can't take it himself. Devo throws one high off the back wall. Killer number 7, and Coca figuring out where to go. Stocky has to cut in across, and that will be saved by Greasy out of the corner.
I really like that attempt from the Juicy Kids, figuring, don't take the shot. There's somebody back forward. This team can handle most of what we can do. So instead, opting for that pass, it's still a little bit of misdirection. While it was easily read by Team Envy, it's still the good thoughts that they need to try and push through.
And Envy, of course, trying to recreate close to the same play over on the other side. Devo to Greasy. He's got a lot of space to work with over here. Goes nice and high up the back wall, well out of reach, and the only one there is Remco, but still generating those shots, and the problem is putting it into the back of the net. Is this one forward to Coca. Devo, 1-2 tap. Stocky somehow able to get the nose on it. Coca with a quick 180. Tries to figure out where he needs to get this ball, and Devo quickly going to close the distance. Just under a minute. Juicy Kids after, like you said, that first minute or so, they really locked down on defense, maybe even caught up to them in the first game, and now it's just a matter of getting the chances, and Coca with a nice demo, and that will go over the head of Devo.
It has slowed down, but I imagine Team Envy will slow down as well, being up 2 goals with not much time left. At that point, you want to play it safe. This is not the kind of tournament, especially with this potential promotion or demotion on the line, depending if you're Team Envy. There's so much more for them to lose right now. So now that they're in the lead, I expect them to slow down a bit, which is where you'll see the Juicy Kids start to match them. But, you know, we saw a couple of slip-ups, and the Juicy Kids were able to push it through them. Just that final shot didn't come through.
And so much more to lose is the right way to put it. Greasy almost had one to seal game 1 with a nice little exclamation point. But Juicy Kids, they're gonna cruise to the victory. They got on the board quick, 4 minutes 31 seconds, and then about a minute later or so. And after that, really held pretty silent. But overall, a pretty good showing. Envy, of course, a little bit ahead in the shots. But Juicy Kids, they held up pretty well there, and it's really just Coca. I mean, sure, he didn't generate a lot of score, but it didn't really feel like he was outpaced.
Yeah, it really only in the beginning did they really feel kind of out of sorts, and it could have just been Team Envy really wanted to come out of the gates early, get that first game, get the momentum on their side. You see 10 shots for Team Envy and only 6 for Juicy Kids. That's kind of the same spread we saw yesterday, and it didn't always determine. We saw a lot of game 5s yesterday. So, and you see that kind of in Rocket League often, where one team kind of just has dominance over a single game, and then the next game it flips to the other side. You start to get that midfield control. You start to get a lot of confidence and momentum on the side of your team when you're getting those midfield boosts and you're really starting to get the great contests. So it wouldn't be surprising to see it flip to the other side, but I think Team Envy have obviously been practicing. They've been trying to get back to their form. We haven't seen it since their offseason. Their offseason was phenomenal before RLCS Season 4 started.
Yeah.
Team Envy were like, oh, we should be scared. But something happened, right? There was some sort of switch that didn't click during the season. It's been tough for them.
Well, of course, they brought it back in week number 5 versus PSG with a huge win there. And that's really where everyone got to see, that's the Envy that everybody's been expecting to go and see, really.
Yeah.
So it was good to see them get a return to form there for that one. And this is really all that Envy has to do. I mean, like you said, the speed was the big difference between these guys. And like you said, those transitional boosts in the midfield, that's what I like to call them.
Yeah.
It allows you to go from defense to offense and back and forth. So Envy definitely... well, you said you think Envy might slow down a little bit, and that might give Juicy Kids just enough to catch up. Do you think you see that in game 2?
Probably not. I think they won't slow down until they get the lead. So I imagine we'll see Team Envy get a lot of those opening goals, and it's just a matter of if they're going to maintain that consistency throughout. Will they be able to keep the pace up an entire match?
We'll see what happens as Stocky meets Greasy in the midfield. Devo following close behind, and a miss that you would never expect Devo to make. And another miss clear, and killer number 7 struggled a little bit late in game 1, and he'll get the Juicy Kids on the board first and 2.
Yeah, I think everyone thought Devo was going to make contact with that, and in fairness, I think Devo thought Devo was going to make contact with that. So the retreating defense on this was just kind of a circumstance of that situation and what was going to happen. Remco trying to get a tight angle push into the corner, cut it off, make sure no one had the shot, but literally the opposite of what I just said. The Juicy Kids will get the first goal.
2 uncharacteristic misses out of Team Envy. That's a nice capitalization goal for the Juicy Kids to start off game 2 on the right foot. And Devo makes sure to get the bumper on it this time around. Out of that side, out into the middle of the pitch. Greasy already waiting. It's well off that back wall. And Coca, brilliant read, but still being challenged by Envy. It's going to be a long road back. Stocky, they've got an open one, and all right, 2 in a row for Juicy Kids.
This is the mistakes that we saw from Team Envy in league play. 2 up for this, both Greasy and Remco going up for that shot, and in reality, I don't think Greasy should have gone up for that. He had a much more difficult angle than Remco. Maybe he suspected Remco didn't have any boost, and you generally don't want to leave anything unanswered. So there was clearly a miscommunication there because Greasy wouldn't do that unless he felt he needed to. So I think someone didn't communicate who could have had that ball. And now that double commit will put them 2 goals down.
They've got plenty of time to find an answer. Coca tries to get one more, and again, a double commit from Envy. Perhaps Killer can make something happen. I don't think he has the boost in the tank. He'll let that one fall. Greasy pushes it out to the side. Remco, he definitely has the boost in the tank. The 1-2 to the right side, and actually sneaks through. The last man can't make it.
Simple off the wall, 2 touches, just enough to put it around 1 defender. But you see Stocky dropping and waiting to watch to see exactly how that panned out. What side was Remco going to put it on? Was Coca going to get a touch? Would it go off of Coca towards the net? Tough to read. I think he may have been a little too close to the post, but obviously hindsight's 20/20. I think he did what he could.
Nice long clear from Remco. Breezemeister has to wait. Will allow Remco the first chance at it. Actually steals it right away. Killer number 7, actually a little bit tardy. Greasy beat him to that ball from so far away. This one out in front. Now that's that speed of Envy coming back a little bit here as we approach the middle of game 2. Koka off the sidewall. Stocky needs this touch. Actually, Envy just gave ground away and said, you can push it onto our side. And thankfully, Juicy Kids gave it right back to him.
A lot of times when you slow the pace up that fast, the other team just thinks that you're going to contest it so much that they'll give up possession on accident. Like, oh, they're going to contest it. Then you get a quick
right
touch
there
around somebody. And then they're not there, and then you gave it to them.
Remco towards the middle, defended by Stocky. It's got a lot of distance on it, too. And he might be able to catch it himself. Breezy will make sure that that's not for free. Devo in the corner, Killer right through him, follow through by Remco. It's Koka now off the back wall, and a nice defended play from Greasy.
The double attack, as usual, from Team Envy.
We ran into a few problems for a few teams in the rival series on the defensive double commits. The Golden Hawks come to mind. When they figured out those defensive communication mishaps, they really looked pretty strong.
I mean, at the core of Rocket League, that is a simple mistake to fix. It's just communication and trying to figure out exactly. Oh, nice defense from Devo off the backboard.
Breezy takes away that corner boost from Killer. It's going to be a long drive back. Stocky can only buy some time. Remco off the ceiling. Greasy finally a brief foray into the orange side of things, but they will not be able to stay there. Remco off the corner. Greasy has to get in front as Devo's not back yet. He's finally made it into the box at least, and it's dangerous. Stocky cannot get the cut.
I want to give a lot of credit to Stocky. A lot of his clears from defense have been amazing to buy his team a lot of time and to really shut out Envy from their half. Notice how long it's been since Team Envy has even been able to put it into the half of the Juicy Kids.
Killer, another soft tap towards the blue corner, steals that corner boost away as well. Minute 24 on the clock, and Envy still struggling to get that offensive pressure going, something that they've really struggled with all season long. Is this one around? Devo can't get it again, and Koka will get a free chance to clear. Stocky just booms it forward. Hard off the side, no problem for Envy. Can't quite reach it the second time around. Remco needs to buy a little bit of time. And goodbye to Remco as that one goes right under. And again, Devo, he's made a couple of tough saves here in game number 2. And finds his way in front of another tough one from the Juicy Kids.
Amazing touch from Devo, but Remco couldn't make contact. It's all on Greasy now.
Oh, you're kidding.
And he actually got a pass too.
Well defended, Koka. Finally, a few chances there for Envy. Again, that third place in the league, struggling to generate those actual goals. Right on the brink to Devo on the left side, and Killer number 7 throws it into the corner.
They've had a lot of control, Team Envy. Only one player on the Juicy Kids even has boost. This is their chance to finally push this through. Suffocate them until you get a good enough shot. Demolition is one way to do that.
Definitely agree. Not straight down. Greasy stays right with it again off the back wall and follow through. Remco off the bar. Oh! It is heartbreak for Envy, but they still have a little bit of time left. Koka gets it through. Greasy with the last chance over to Devo. Straight down and defended. Killer number 7 to Remco, and that is pushed wide as well, and that has to hurt if you are Team Envy.
Opening up with a huge mistake from Envy. 2 whiffs entirely back-to-back will give the Juicy Kids the opening goal. They'll get just enough for it. But you can see Team Envy starting to mount that comeback in the last few seconds, nearly tying up that game. Had there not been any mistakes, that could have been 2-1 in their favor, or at least bringing it to overtime. So that's a relatively easy fix for Team Envy, but the Juicy Kids, I like that they're able to find where those mistakes are and capitalize on it. Couple of double commits there at the end on defense, but to be fair, same with Team Envy. There's a lot of pressure on the line right now. I think the biggest flaw right now for Team Envy are those double commits on both offense and defense. So if they can fix that, it's going to be really difficult for Juicy Kids to find the room to play.
And also, it was a really nice job by Juicy Kids because it really seemed the middle of that game, minutes like 3, maybe even 3:30, all the way down to what felt like a minute remaining. It was really all Juicy Kids just sitting on that Team Envy half. Of course, you would have liked to see them find the back of the net a few more times, but overall, when you're able to box in that team like Envy, where we're all expecting them to be so much faster than everybody else and really keep them boxed in their own half, it was really a nice job overall from Juicy Kids in Game 2.
I mean, you can't be fast without boost, and that's the biggest thing. If you can control those mid boosts, the transitional boost, and then you can also even steal a couple of the corner ones, yeah, so what? They grab one, but then what? They need to use most of that boost to clear it. and then they don't have enough to follow, or they don't have a teammate to follow with them. And now in the way people are playing Rocket League at this current time, you almost need 2 people to clear it. It needs to be some sort of short passing play,
bit of help,
or like a mid-range passing play. Doing it solo, you're losing possession. So you buy your time, you buy your team time, but is it enough for you guys to actually grab the boost?
Get it clear.
Yeah, and the Juicy Kids were able to just keep that pressure up.
Well, we've moved into game number 3, and Envy would like to clean up the defense a little bit here, as that's solid capitalization from Juicy Kids in game 2, and that might be another chance. Killer picks the one spot in the net that can't quite get it all the way done, and a hard bounce off the back wall. Tough defense for Greasy. Coca towards the corner. Devo cuts it down, and again defended. Killer number 7, he'll try again, and that one finds its way through.
Killer number 7 seeming to take that spot of Frag on the team. His shot this series have been amazingly placed. We see him always getting it where he needs to, putting the power just under the crossbar. Devo nearly making that save yet again. But now we're seeing the Juicy Kids coming out of the gates, outpacing Envious early on.
And it's really been Killer number 7's offensive show all rival series long. Definitely one of the most accurate shooters in Frag, but Killer number 7 has proven himself no slouch to finding the back of the net all season long for Juicy Kids. He looks to continue that, hopefully all the way into the RLCS. Served up for Remco, and again, pushed wide. So surprising to see Remco struggling to find the back of the net. Devo, on the second opportunity, gets it home.
The best passes are missed shots. That I will live and die by that. The best passes are missed shots. Coca not knowing exactly which of those were going on target. 2 of them hitting just to the side. For the third one, finally, Devo able to secure that for his team, tying the game up. 4:12 remain.
It's a nice quick answer as well from Envy. Keeps yourself in the game. Greasy launched downfield off the back wall. Killer cannot reach it, and the follow through just wide of the mark. Devo to Remco, and he will make sure that one gets in. He said, I have to get this one inside the post.
Shooting percentage is a lot of what they struggled with as well.
Yeah.
They were one of the lowest shooting, they were almost
19.
record for lowest shooting
19%.
percentage ever. So, the fact that we're seeing that isn't uncharacteristic as far as their league play, but as far as these individual players, it doesn't feel right because we've seen them do so well. But there you see Remco redeeming himself a bit from that first miss.
Greasy off the back wall wants 2, and it will be taken away by Stocky. Remco off the ceiling. Devo is just going to give a little ground, and a brilliant block from Remco in the corner. Unfortunately, no follow through from Team Envy.
Tough to dedicate to those. Tough to think they're going to make it through.
Devo off the side, over the top of 1, and he might have a chance. Stocky's a little bit too quick. Remco out towards the top of the box, and Killer number 7 will take that away. Right to Greasy, launched off the back wall. Chance for Devo, and it's a little bit too slow, and Juicy Kids very thankful that first one wasn't on target. And here's the speed coming back for Envy. They're really starting to box. Juicy Kids in the 1-2 tap. Remco's back, baby.
There we go, Remco. He's trying to make us shut up. The triple touch straight down into the backboard, and then finding the angle behind the defender. Now we see the solo play. This is the most comfortable I've seen Envy pretty much all season. Now all 3 of them really coming to form. They're comfortable with their solo plays. They're passing it as a team. But right now, this feels good for Team Envy.
And shots like that, those are really the goals that get your team going. You say, all right, we're feeling good, and you can really ride off of a goal off the back of that. And Juicy Kids need to find an answer to keep themselves right on target. This one off the side. Killer number 7 trying to get this one through Greasy. And Juicy Kids will have to run all the way back to their own side. Coca out into space wisely just to give his team a chance. Remco again towards the net. Devo now. This one is well high, straight down, and Stocky, what a read. It's Coca towards the corner. Devo waiting at the top of the box, and again, just blocked out by Coca. We haven't really said Coca's name a whole lot in terms
Killer.
of...
Oh, Stocky.
1-2, Devo out towards the side. It's actually a bit of a race. Greasy launches it. They're not going to catch it. It's 4-1 Envy.
I want to give huge credit to every single player on the Juicy Kids. Their reads have been top-notch, able to get some interesting bounces, quick balls, quick reactions. This time they were just a little too late. Someone trying to get there just too fast, being that third player, making that commitment to the play, assuming, hey, if we don't get this now, it might be a little too difficult to come back from this. But now a little steeper of a hill for them to climb, being 3 goals down.
It all starts with 1 finding its way. Remco wants another one, and this one finds its way off the T-bar. Devo hard off the corner, and nobody's going to be able to be there for Envy. And Juicy Kids a chance to breathe. Push downfield, return fire from Greasy to Devo. Can he get the second touch? Yes, he can, but it's off the post. Greasy throws it high. Is Remco anywhere nearby? Killer number 7 into the corner. Juicy Kids struggling to clear this ball versus Envy. Right at Greasy. Off the back wall, Coca again clears it away. He's been so sure-handed. It was the big question of how Coca was really going to perform for this team. Again, he hasn't done a whole lot, but he has certainly done enough, but that is not going to do it. Greasy over to Devo, just spiking it in.
I had no idea Devo was going to come in for this shot. I saw Coca there on the wall, Stocky coming to save this, but Devo just barely beating him to it, redirecting it into the net, 5-1. We see Team Envy really tearing this game away.
Welcome back to life, Team Envy. Remco hard off that back wall. Stocky has no idea how to defend this. Really needs help from killer number 7. Thankfully slipped through Greasy in the midfield, and it finds its way into the back of the net. 2 taps it in.
Juicy Kids are very capable of being able to put up goals on Team Envy, which I think is something that we definitely need to not forget. The fact that they can put these shots up and still put goals on, even if they're getting outpaced on defense and Team Envy are beating them. Team Envy sometimes can get carried away, or sometimes they'll fall off. You know, only now have we seen them put this many goals up. It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of Team Envy.
Greasy takes a little bit of time, goes right at killer number 7. Remco gives it right back. Coca over to Sataki. Might be just out of reach. Somehow gets the nose on it. Killer number 7 thankful for the miss from Remco, and that will give Juicy Kids a chance to stay on offense. Devo takes it away in the side wall. Coca follows through. It's a hard pinch, and Greasy and Remco again just have to wait. Killer number 7 not going to be able to defend that one. Devo can't get there first. Juicy Kids really trying to accomplish what would be an offensive miracle here in game number 3. Greasy off the back wall, right to Remco, and what defense from killer number 7. Just got right in front of that, cut it down into the corner. But precious time continues to tick. So they really need something, and Remco again. He has been aiming for the highlight reel here in game 3.
Team Envy really has been going for a lot of these solo plays, and the ones that are failing are kind of setting up their teammates for the passes because, again, you always have a defender that's trying. But these counterattacks from the Juicy Kids are very, very threatening to Team Envy. If they don't get back in time, they will start conceding more goals.
Unfortunately, not going to be enough time on the clock. Game number 3 going to wind its way down. The final 6 seconds or so, a formality, as Envy, and Remco in particular, took plenty of shots, made a couple of them look really pretty, and they came out on top in game number 3. A really nice show here from them.
I mean, the shot spread in this, you'll see when the scoreboard pops up, the shot spread was kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. We did see Juicy Kids.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they put like 3 of those up in the last 40 seconds as well. So it was a pretty huge spread. Even just going before this, we're looking at 15 shots to 7, right? That's math? That's
Yeah,
math.
15 shots.
Yeah,
to
okay,
7, yeah.
cool. I just want to double check.
Caster math is hard.
It's the hardest.
It's off stream, it's no problem. You've got it. But as soon as they put you on the spot, you're just sitting there like.
As soon as I'm supposed to like turn these numbers into a point that makes sense, that's where it becomes really difficult.
You have to use your fingers.
Yeah.
At least I do.
I do every time. I'm doing this before the camera cuts back, but I don't want anyone to see that, so I usually do it before they see me. But that is the most comfortable I've seen Team Envy all season, hands down. Like I don't think I've ever seen them, and that was all solo plays. They were not bothering the passes.
Well, they had 5 assists. All 5 of their goals were assisted.
Yeah.
But it's like definitely, it was a lot of individual effort.
I guess the goals that sunk in were from the solo efforts.
Yes.
While they are still seeking each other out, you're not seeing the short midfield passes that we have that we see them need to execute in certain situations, especially when they're up against a team that can read those. I really think it's going to be hard set for the Juicy Kids to try and start matching these shots that are coming up. They can get good counterattacks, right? Mm-hmm. But it's that those plays that we're seeing Team Envy, like this is that spread. This is that slight skill gap we're going to see of a top-notch RLCS team to someone that's starting to deal with that competition. I definitely don't want to take anything away from the Juicy Kids because I'm super impressed. Their defense is actually incredible. Yeah. Like their hard clears, being able to push it out. I think their reactions sometimes to the solo plays are where they're lacking.
They're like, they don't have that. Yeah. They don't have that. But no, it's Devo, Remco, and Greasy. They've probably got it.
Although to be fair, earlier in the season I've been like, I don't know. Do they have that?
Do they? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Do they have that? But It's also an interesting thing because Juicy Kids have really kind of been forced, because they've been the ones who have been so used to being on top and out in front and faster than everyone. And it's been a long time since they've really had to play, because they're only super stiff competition in Rival Series. That being said, everyone in Rival Series was great.
Yeah.
But the team that's challenging them in the same way that Envy is challenging them right now is Fnatic. And they didn't. They only got the chance to play Fnatic one time, at least during the season. So it's kind of an interesting thing because they don't have a lot of experience having to play up to speed to something like that. And Juicy Kid's really struggling, I think, to pick up that difference.
And I think there's a small placebo effect in everyone's head when you're going up against a team that has the weight of team. I mean, they're legitimately right now the current world champions.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no matter how they did or didn't perform all season, you can't write that off. They've obviously been able to perform.
All three.
All three of them. Greasy has won before. It wasn't last season. He won the previous season. Every single player on this roster has been able to take down every other player in the world. So there's always going to be that small placebo effect of maybe we can't play the game we want to play perfectly, so we need to try and play against them. What are they doing? Which isn't a bad thing to think about. You want to try and counter what they're good at. Like, what are they? Do they over-aggress sometimes, which we see sometimes?
They do
they double commit, right? But you don't want
to. Taken good opportunities when that's happened. They've had, like you said, fairly strong counterattacks all series long. It's just generating their own chances.
But if you want to be stuck on defense against this team, well, good luck, because that's not going to be fun. That is not going to be fun. So I think that's going to be a huge part of it. Just watching the Juicy Kids try and figure out what it's going to take. I really think that they're playing pretty fine with Coca. You have more experience watching them, so how do you feel they are with Coca compared to Frag?
I think Frag definitely was able to insert himself a little bit more onto the offensive side of things. Like they said, there's a reason he had one of the highest shooting percentages. Certainly not taking as many shots as you'd like with somebody who puts the ball into the back of the net that consistently. But I think Coca has done a fairly nice job out of the midfield and on the defensive side, just because it's tough to expect the exact same level of play out of your sub when you haven't really played with him all season. Like we said, this has been a last-second roster swap for the Juicy Kids. They're kind of coming in a little bit cold with Coca. And to see him step up, the problem was you needed Frag and then some out of Coca, and it's tough to really expect that from him.
And being that quick substitute, yes, we know substitutes can work, a la Turbo Pulsa, but at the same time, being a substitute, you always have to be hyper aware of your two teammates.
Yes.
They obviously have a chemistry. They've been playing together all season, and kind of one of the difficult parts of Rocket League is the substitutes just don't get much play time, which makes sense. Why would you not play with the guy you're starting with? You want the most practice with your starting team. So you have a guy like Coca who's now just going to be hyper aware of where Killer and Stocky are and really trying to find that perfect time to insert himself, but that will always add that extra quarter to half second of hesitation because he's trying to analyze while he plays.
Just not quite as smooth. A little bit more information on Coca. Started playing ESLs back in 2016. And then joined up with Stocky and Frag in the middle of 2017. Found his way onto the Juicy Kids roster, but we've moved on into game number 4. And Envy looking to put a stranglehold on the series here with a big win. Greasy Meister a little bit tardy there on the offense. Taking his time, Coca. I'm always a big fan of taking your time when you realize you have a little bit of space. Too easy to just give the ball away, and that's definitely something Juicy Kids have done all Rival Series long. Very aware of the space they have on defense.
There are certain moments in Rocket League when a timer starts where you actually need to get it out. It is either when somebody double commits, or you've stolen a boost, or a demolition has happened. Those are kind of like, we need to make something happen now. But yeah, I totally agree with you. In almost any other situation, if you have time to breathe, let your team reset and space out, it's almost always a good option just to give yourselves a little bit of time to think, maybe even rest your brains for a second so that you can start to get ready for the next attack.
Well, Envy has certainly started off the attack strong. It's spent a lot of time here in this Juicy Kid corner to start off game number 4. Finally, Stocky at least relieves a little bit of pressure, but it comes right back. Killer number 7 tapped forward off the back wall. Coca eyeing it up, and Greasy will find the clear out to Devo.
Ooh, Devo nicely placed, giving Greasy a target. Now he was going to follow that up, nearly getting a shot off himself.
Ooh. Uncharacteristic miss, Remco. A little bit of game number 1 showing right there. They kind of struggled to find the ball a few times. Greasy Meister towards the right side and picks a spot and nails it.
And there it is. This is what happens when you give Envy the time to play their game. Coca there, but not contesting Greasy. I don't think it would have had time anyways. But when you give him that much room in the midfield, they will almost always make something out of it. And now Greasy will put the first goal up in game number 4.
Devo. Back towards his own corner. Greasy makes the quick adjustment. Killer a little bit late. Stocky straight down. Needs a second touch to go through the defender. Can he get one more out to a teammate? Greasy Meister too quick on the rotate back. Out towards the middle for Coca. Stolen away by Devo. It's going to be way on target, and there is no way Stocky's reaching that.
The hard clear resulting in the goal. We see Coca, the last man back. Stocky trying to rotate all the way around, trying to pull it wide and grab some boost. But Coca challenging that when in reality he wasn't going to be able to get that hit. Probably not expecting a shot, maybe hoping that would go towards the corner so that his teammate could go back and help slow it down, but that was on target.
Remco high up that sidewall. Greasy can only wait. Killer number 7 in the right place at the right time. Tap forward to Stocky. He tries to give it back, and thankfully they just win that contest in the midfield. Boost battle, which Remco lost as they leave in the Juicy Kids with a chance, but Greasy Meister takes that away as well, and thankfully defended right in front of the net.
This is tough. Stocky missed a boost a little bit ago, so he still hasn't gotten much. He's at 0 right now, picking up whatever he can, but they get some room. They're able to reset as they get this ball clear.
Devo taking his time, a bit of an awkward clear attempt, and then Juicy Kids bearing down on the net. Thankfully, they've found a way to right the ship on defense for Envy. Stocky off the side, a brilliant read from Devo to Killer number 7 there to contest as Remco just uses the ground pinch, and good night.
A lot of the credit has to go to Devo on this read.
Yep.
Somehow able to read that wall touch and then contesting Killer as well, getting that 50-50 against him. I couldn't tell if he made full contact, but at the very least his threat alone forced him to try and go high above him, even if he didn't make the contact. And you will see his teammate able to support him and get the goal.
And in the past 2 games, Envy have outscored Juicy Kids 8-2.
Pretty brutal.
And that is very brutal. As Coca forward to Stocky. He's no way he's going to reach that one. Killer towards the corner, and Greasy again already there. Remco towards the left side, can't reach it, make it 9-2.
At this point, you can see the Juicy Kids wanting to overcommit. I guess not wanting to overcommit, but wanting to push very hard on these chances, on these volleys that they have up towards the Team Envy net. But the problem is they're a little incongruent right now. They're not working fully together as a team and not spreading out. So they're not gaining control as they push up into their opponent's half.
And then it's leaving them out of position.
And then it's just leaving them totally out of position.
Too much distance to cover on the way back, and Envy has exploited that beautifully in the past 2 games. This one they go close, and Stocky just able to get in front of it. Devo pops another one high, which Remco will miss again. Devo somehow able to get a challenge out into the corner. Perhaps it might have pinched off the 2 Juicy Kid defenders. Gone right back, and this one, the 1-2 tap into the top left. Stocky defends it from the back wall.
Stocky's defense has been through the roof right now. Just watching him take it off of these weird angles off the backboard, he's still always able to clear 3/4 down the field to buy his team time. I understand circumstantially you might want to sometimes gain a little bit of control, not clear it so far, but being 4 goals down against Team Envy, what he's doing is a very difficult task, and it's really cool to watch.
Stocky definitely led his team in saves per game throughout the rival series. Actually took 7th in the region as well, so near the top. As Coca hard off the sidewall. Greasy Meister and Devo a little bit of contact, and it gives Killer number 7 a chance. Hard off the back wall. It was a very difficult read for Stocky, but what do you do when you're down by 4, 24 seconds left?
You definitely, you got to make the shots. You might as well just go for whatever you can, right?
Step 1, put the ball in the net, and they are looking ahead to game number 5. And Envy have really turned up the heat on Juicy Kids. The offense has just absolutely stalled for them. And it has been a brilliant offensive showing. Yes, of course, still not the Envy that we all know and love from seasons past, going all the way back to We Them Girls even. Yep. But overall, this is a welcome offensive showing for Team Envy.
Another disgusting shot spread. We see 8 shots for Team Envy and only 2 for Juicy Kids. Really not being able to surmount anything. Difficulty just pushing it and keeping it into Team Envy's half. A lot of their clears are hard clears, which are good for maybe 2 things: to reset, and if there's no one back, to maybe make the shot. You want to find parts of their half where they're not located, but pros are getting very good, and I'll actually use Stocky as a prime example of what he's been doing when he's that last man on defense, what we saw in Game 1 and Game 2. No matter what angle he had, he was still able to get a really good touch on it, and always able to push it all the way back. Whether he was coming from the side, from behind it, upside down, off the backboard, doesn't matter. Stocky right now is a prime example of what pros are capable of.
And that's really comes down to his experience, because he's been around the Rocket League scene for as long as you could possibly remember. Like, you go all the way back to Season 1, like Swarm Gaming with Pashy, like Stocky was right there with him, and you go back to Sarp even. He's old in terms of Rocket League.
He's Rocket League old.
he is Rocket League ancient.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's definitely the experience.
Honestly, every player on this, I think Coca's the person that I know the least. I've seen Killer around for just as long. I've seen him around as long as almost I can remember. Killer has been competing for a very, very long time as well. But, you know, it's not being able to follow up, and that's a product of Team Envy having control. If you're getting the hard clears, it's because your team needs room. You're running out of boost, you need the hard clear, so they're just going to shoot again. But Team Envy has control of those mid boosts. They have control of the back. They're able to drop a third man back to defense and then just clear it right back at you. Then what do you do, right? They keep leaving you with the one option of hard clear. The moment you don't, they're going to shoot it on your net.
And it's been compounded as well, because when Envy hasn't been right in front of their net, they've been so spaced out and able to cover so much of the pitch that those long clears aren't even really able to find a lot of space. Juicy Kids have to figure out an answer for that here, as in the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds, it's possible that they find themselves out into the lower bracket. Coca can't get one through. Stocky a chance. It will be high off that back wall. Greasy misses the read, and Devo lends a helping hand, gets it out towards the side. Coca around the back wall, again defended by Greasy. Remco tap forward. Stocky right there for it, and right at another Envy member. Ceiling, that will be Stocky, and again, offensive pressure mounting for Juicy Kids, but no real shots on net, and Greasy just drives right through the middle of a defender, and Devo, he will kiss Killer number 7 goodnight.
I mean, the immediate turnaround again. Now Remco, will he take the solo play? No, Coca will get back. But just watch how Team Envy supports each other. Look where they position when they watch a teammate going for a 50-50. If it's at midfield, there's always somebody in that kind of sweet spot where they tend to bounce out to. They're always there to try and be as fast as possible to the next touch. So even if they seem to not have any control, they can within seconds just have the next 3 touches to themselves.
Coca trying to find Killer number 7. It's a tough read. Somehow Devo missed the ball. Remco can only delay and buy a little time, and Coca bearing down right in the middle, and he can't keep it out. Party time. All right. Love it.
My all-time favorite goal explosion.
It's great.
I still struggle not to laugh whenever I hear it go off. The excited children.
It's so good. It's so good. And it's got to feel good for Juicy Kids, as that's the first time they've scored since game number 3.
Yeah.
With a minute and a half left. They did get shut out in game 4. So it has been a long offensive drought for them, and to score first as well feels really good.
Team Envy had a quick answer another time they were down. Will they have another quick answer again? We can see them with full control right now.
Devo to Greasy, just can't quite get under that ball enough. Will track it down. Coca misses a clear, and pressure continues to build for Envy. Hard off the corner. Coca again off the side, can only go around one defender, but right at Devo.
Will we see it? Greasy.
Oh, well, you saw Remco over there, so I guess it's okay.
Worked.
You're kidding. That's going to slip through? That's going to slip. I don't believe it, Carpet. It's not possible.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I thought he was going to drop it down, but he saw Remco out to the side. We didn't even see him. I've got free roam with this camera. I can do whatever I want, and I still didn't see him out there. They will make the passing play, tie the game up. 5 shots to 4 right now, so it's a much closer game right now than we've seen just over halfway through. The Juicy Kids are holding a lot more to Team Envy.
Remco slides one out to Greasy just off the mark. Stocky again able to find a clear. He's got some time and just launches it downfield, actually towards the net. As Greasy hard off the side wall with Coca's help. Devo and Killer number 7 again say hello. They met a few minutes ago. Devo won that bout. As that is a poor clear. Remco somehow gets the bumper on it. Devo off the side wall. Stocky now has to challenge Greasy.
Every single contest. The last 4 touches, Team Envy were there for everything. Even if it looked like they were at a disadvantage,
they made it.
They still make it.
Stocky to the corner, Greasy right around, and that is Stocky this time, having to wait 3 seconds. Remco waits patiently in the midfield, missed clear. Again, MV come forward. Greasy off the back wall, Devo's right there for it. Tough angle, he's trying to pick one spot. They pinch it all the way downfield. Killer number 7 has a chance, goes under one, and Greasy will make sure to get in front of that one. Stocky with a follow through, down and around, it will be out.
That was a huge clear for Killer. Both of his teammates had nothing. They had no boost. If Killer had not followed it out and at least forced them to play some defense, I guarantee you the next few shots would have gone in.
Coca tapped forward, Remco and Devo trying to figure out how they want to get this ball through, somehow get it through Killer number 7. Coca struggling to find it clear, and Stocky has to help out. Killer number 7 towards the left side, nobody home, and they finally catch Envy getting boost.
This time, Team Envy dedicated a bit too hard for that last touch. Greasy wanted to retreat, but he had nothing for it. Couldn't get up. He couldn't decide whether he wanted to go for net or for the ball, but to be fair, if he didn't have boost, he wouldn't have made that save anyways. So Killer on the quick attack. They will be up 1 goal, 57 seconds remain.
And that's really been Juicy Kid's bread and butter for getting offensive chances against Envy in this series, and it is met immediately. Remco, hello.
Within 3 seconds, Remco, Coca just getting completely outpaced there. So quick from Team Envy. And Remco waiting for that cheat up. Tied, just under a minute left.
130 kilometers per hour. You want to talk about ripping into a ball.
Yeah.
Remco did it just now. Stocky takes his time out of the corner. Devo meets him close to midfield, and that will go over the head of Coca. And again, he's been struggling all series long. We were wondering how Coca was going to perform. Like you said, perhaps just a little bit too outgunned. Devo to the side. Killer number 7 flips it forward, and Greasy again, the first one there. Envy definitely dominating the final minute of offensive play for sure. A chance to answer here for Juicy Kids as they get a brief stint over into the blue corner. Final 10 seconds. Juicy Kids need this one to stay in the upper bracket and force the next game. Have to win more than that as well. Killer number 7 to Devo actually will get clear downfield. We go to overtime, the first overtime of the day. And yeah, you have to wonder who to give it to, because Juicy Kids have really done a nice job here in this game number 5, answering Envy's pressure.
Oh, Greasy with the solo play. 2 go up, though. Devo going
for a huge triple commit, you're kidding. The Juicy Kids in full panic mode.
Yeah, this is that timer. Now that you've watched them all commit, you've stolen their boost as well. They have almost nothing, but no one there to contest. Now Greasy, can he solo this alone again?
Oh, wow. Just sits on it, actually got it out to the top of the box. Devo, again, just beating out the Juicy Kids defense. They are hoping for a clear. Devo off the ceiling, Greasy into the middle. Stocky, not the best clear. Thankful it didn't slip into the left side.
At this point, Team Envy's playing target practice with the Juicy Kids. And you hinted at it a bit earlier. This is Team Envy's game to win. They will move forward in this tournament, and Juicy Kids will get knocked to the lowers.
Okay, Devo, make sure. He was doing the math in his head. He says, can I make it back? Yes, I can. Let's make sure we get it out to the side. Just pokes it right out. And Juicy Kids were hoping to steal one there in overtime. Killer launched downfield right at Greasy. And the first one there, actually Coca there to contest. Devo off the ceiling, not quite the ceiling, or the back wall. Stocky there to cut it down. Devo and Greasy, that's the old we've got ball cam on and don't realize each other are there.
Yep.
Give each other a thumbs up, and it slips into the top left. Coca in party time. Do it in OT.
Celebration indeed for Coca. They will stay alive now 2 games against Team Envy, which is a massive, massive feat for any team to say they can do. Party time indeed. I hope everybody put that gold explosion on.
Honestly,
the whole world
100% agree.
It just makes my day immediately better.
It's like, how can you, like you said, it's hard not to laugh when you see that thing go off.
It's just like part of my brain's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this doesn't fit. But then the other part of my brain's like, it fits so well.
11 shots. 11 shots for Envy.
Yeah. But look at how many shots for Juicy Kids. Look
11 shots
for
Juicy Kids. We figured out how to at least start challenging the ball in the midfield, at least giving ourselves opportunities.
Yeah, and they're able to get those quick turnarounds. There were a couple times that we saw like that triple commit from Juicy Kids. I'm really surprised that we didn't see
get
Team
scored
Envy
on.
push up harder. I think in general, because it was a tied game, they were a little scared to let a pinch go in, which is kind of what almost happened, kind of what did happen sort of situation. But, you know, once you see a triple commit and then you also steal one of their boosts in the corner, that's probably a good time to just throw a body to the ball. It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody go for it, because even if you just slow it down or even if you just stop it where it is,
They might scramble.
three people
again.
are clumped in a corner. They have to start retreating. They don't have boost because you just took it. And they're also on the same side, so if anyone wants to get boost, they've got to go on a small vacation either side of the field.
And that's a long vacation.
Yeah.
When you're scrambling that hard, that's a long way out.
Yeah, that's essentially like you only had 2 weeks. Why'd you take off 4 kind of thing. Not a great situation for them to be in. So I was a little surprised that no one contested that. It must have been, again, a lack of boost situation for Team Envy. But they're usually quicker. You can usually deal with stuff like that. But again, match point for Team Envy. They are 1 game away from taking this series. No one's eliminated. This is a double elimination, so everyone's still got room to breathe just a little bit. But you want to try and make it to the qualifying match in the uppers, so you have
Only 2 series.
yeah, you're only 2 series if you make it in the uppers. Short day for you.
The easiest way back to RLCS. We find ourselves on lovely Urban Central for game number 6. And this is the one, if you're Team Envy, you need to put the nail in the coffin, I think. You do not want to go into that best-of-1 scenario for number 7, because at that point, you might as well just toss a coin, regardless of how the series is played out. Breezy tries to go right through the middle of Coca. Juicy Kids just launching that ball downfield off the 2 cars in the corner, and a missed challenge right towards the top left, and it's going to be off the bar. The second chance, and defended by Stocky. A brilliant recovery.
He really is a defensive monster. He alone is a wall for his team. If Stocky's on defense, it is going to be so difficult for Team Envy to push it through. Whoa, Coca just getting there.
Stocky again in charge of the defense. Not the strongest clear. Killer number 7 will help that forward.
4 shots already for Team Envy in the first minute.
Coca off the back wall, tries to keep it close, right onto Remco's nose, and Stocky helps it in. Unfortunate.
That happens. That is 5 shots with just over a minute. Remco just pushing this through as much as he can. Coca not getting full control. Stocky getting bumped by Coca. That was an own pool shot.
I was about to say, did you get the pool shot? That's what really matters.
Yeah, it's all about the pool. I mean, the stat
Style
probably
points.
won't track because it was own and just poor situation. But that is a mismanaged touch, resulting eventually in a mismanaged save.
Unforced error.
Yeah.
Breezy Meister, right towards the side. Through a couple of defenders. Killer number 7 finally closes the gap. Remco launched downfield. Stocky and Coca figuring out who needs to be on the back wall. Devo takes it away, and very thankful that one not on target to the far post. Easy off the back wall. Stocky can't get there. Remco goes right over the middle. Devo again able to win a challenge in front of the orange net. Greasy as well. And it's so tough to clear the ball for Juicy Kids all series long. It's just because, like you said, Envy have been so quick to the ball out of the midfield. You touched on that back in, I think, game 4, if memory serves correct.
They turn on really quick. You ever done any kind of like cardio training with those masks that are supposed to make it feel like you're at high altitude? Like the mask will actually, it like starves you of it starves you of a little bit of oxygen. It's got to be what the Juicy Kids feel like just a little bit sometimes. Like, look at this. Every time they think they've got some control, you see them try and carry it out. Somebody's there again to contest them.
I don't know what the word cardio means. So.
Oh, that's true.
This one out in front. But I definitely agree. It has been a suffocating defensive sequence after a suffocating defensive
Did
sequence.
Devo actually get that touch in the corner? What is this?
Well, he is Devo. So, I mean, odds are
Yes.
Killer to Coca.
Oh.
Devo tapped away. Past halfway in game number 6. Envy looking to move on into that, basically the winner's final. Because at that point, you have a chance at the RLCS, and like you said, a short day. And Juicy Kids all series long, they have been put in defensive sequence after defensive sequence. To be fair, they've held out pretty well. Problem is, you can't stop everything, especially versus an enemy that's been so quick out of midfield. As this one finally a chance to slip through, and Devo wisely gets that ball up. If he goes quick across that net, that might find his way in.
Nice, be careful. Coca, last man on defense. Killer, though, getting a lot of control to mid. Remco using a lot of boost to try and get that second touch. Always looking for each other.
Killer into the corner. Coca following close behind. Will have to give way to Stocky in the backfield. Sees up the back wall. Okay, the clear's not out in front of the net, so that's about all you can ask for in a tough spot like that. Stevo up towards the side. He's got Stocky cleanly beat. Does he have it off the back wall? Killer number 7, what a touch. Skims it off the roof and buys plenty of time for Juicy Kids to reset. Greasy makes sure to take one out, and it matters. Rimco putting him up by 2.
He had a 1 in 3 chance of taking out the one that mattered, and he did. 3 people on defense, Stocky on the wall. Killer a bit too far up for that. Trying to follow with Stocky. What they were doing was actually great. So Coca was in net. Killer and Stocky were trying to get a 2-man clear. Killer down to Stocky. Stocky going to chase that out. But since the touch wasn't down at him and the demolition happened right
on the
behind him.
Yeah. And Envy are looking locked in to have a chance at RLCS in their next series. Potentially versus Fnatic or Team Secret. Stevo pops one over. Time ticking away, and it's been a long time since it feels like time's been a factor in a game.
Yeah.
For the Juicy Kids, but now more than ever. And a huge demo, and Stocky takes it the wrong way. Couldn't let that roll over his hood first. And now they've reached the final 30. Devo off the side, kept away, a nice bump. And again, Envy just draining tick after tick off the clock. 15 seconds, missed clear. Devo high up the back wall, wasting even more time. Stocky defending, they need a long one right here. Killer misses the touch. Coca tries to throw it over to Stocky, who wasn't quite expecting it in the final 5, and they still haven't made it out of their half. Over the roof of 1, and that will skid onto the ground. Envy in 6. Juicy Kids, they fought hard, but just too much offense. And it's been a long time since we've been able to say that about Team Envy.
I mean, the storyline can be told in the shots right there. 10 shots to 2. That was kind of the story of most of the games. There were a couple of outliers where Juicy Kids were able to either match or come at least much closer. But it started off, even the very first game, nearly getting doubled. And then the closest one they had was the more recent one, 11-11. But other than that, Team Envy had so much more control. It feels like they were able to execute the solo plays a bit more often, catch the Juicy Kids off guard. Remember, no one's eliminated. They have just been knocked to the lowers. This is a double elimination promotional tournament. Best of 7s all round. So they'll still have a chance to actually make it through. They now have to play 2 more and then a qualifier. So they have a lot. Actually,
1 series, and then, right,
No,
we've
one more and then a qualifier. Yeah, I'll figure it out eventually. So they have 2 more potentially to try and make it through. So they still have to play more games since they've gotten knocked down. Essentially, everybody has 2 opportunities to lose. You have to beat 2 teams, or you lose against 2 teams. One of those will seal your fates.
We'll find out. So, we've seen 6 games of Rocket League. I believe we've said our piece. Let's go back over to Axel Toss, Gibbs, and Quinn on the desk, get their thoughts on what just happened.
Thanks, guys. A nice start to the day from Team Envy. It started off pretty close, but I feel like Envy got into their form and were able to get a relatively comfortable victory, to be honest, again, which is exactly what they need today. Let's take a look at the Mobile One High Performance replay to get a recap of those highlights. As Envy advances in the bracket, which means in their next match, they will be playing for a spot in next season of RLCS.
That was scary, I thought, for Envy. The first 2 minutes of the first game, they looked good, but then the next 8 minutes, at the end of game 1, Juicy Kids was putting on a lot of pressure, just couldn't find the back of the net. And then game 2, Juicy Kids shuts out Envy, and I'm like, oh, what's happening here? And it just seemed like we saw 2 different Envies, and it was on like just random games. Like some games they would completely shut them down, and then other games like Juicy Kids would be right there. Very strange game from Envy, but some highlight reel plays from them too.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you the fact that we saw 2 different Envies. Just some moments we saw Remco with highlight reel plays, a triple touch, again another excellent goal, but then we also see them whiffing quite a few touches, and really they actually ended up out-shooting. Envy outshot the Juicy Kids almost 2-1. It was something like 59 shots for Envy versus 34 for Juicy Kids. And normally with a shot differential that much, you'd also expect significantly more goals, especially from a team like Envy, and that's not what we saw, which goes to show you there were a lot of really just weak shots, not decisive play, something that needs to change if they want to have success next season.
Yes, this entire season, that's their main problem. They were at 19.8 shooting percentage, almost